Welcome everybody to another episode of the Kick and Make Up MMA show. I'm your host, the American Hybrid. With me, as always, Jeremy J.D. Dorsey. We were gone for a minute, but now we're back. I feel like that was like, I wanted to have another line after that.
Yeah, you're supposed to rhyme something, rap something with that?
Know.
Yeah, that's all right.
We're gone for a couple weeks for the official show, but I feel like what's a good word other than like, what I'm thinking right now for what we did to Facebook this past week at UFC 164.
Flooded, annoyed,
Flooded's better.
PO'd a bunch of people, I'm sure. But oh well, I'm sorry.
I mean, if you're watching this, obviously you're an MMA fan and you didn't mind all of our backstage coverage from UFC 164, Pettis versus Henderson. I don't think we could have done anything more than what we did that weekend.
No.
So now we're back here today with the official show, our 11th show. So if you haven't seen any of the other shows, go to www.kickandmakeup.com. Jeremy's been so kind to upload everything on that show, everything from the past shows, the first 10 shows, any of the articles I've done for Ola America, and thank you Ola America Studios again for allowing us to come in today, and here we are. So thank you everybody at Ola. Also, all of our interviews, we got 5 of them at UFC 164. If you want to know who, go check it out. And then, just anything and everything, www.kickandmakeup.com. You can also join our Facebook page. Go to Facebook, search Kick and Makeup. Had a couple new people join from UFC 164 too, so awesome to have you guys in the group. What's good about the group is that you get the quick updates and exclusive updates if you're in that group. So as we were, posting from the show, if you're a member there, you not only get the status update from our personal ones, but you also get them from the show. So good to be on for that. Also, we did some Twitter stuff this weekend too.
Oh yeah, Twitter's we're up. We got a few extra followers. I've sort of tried to take on the Twitter thing. I really don't like Twitter, but I'll take it on for the show purposes, and try to get things going. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of responses. Got some more followers on Twitter, so that's pretty awesome to put thoughts out there and people respond. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. We got to thank your brother for the new sign, man. Like, how awesome is that? Like, it's we're official now. We debuted it at UFC 164 under a little duress, but.
Yeah, don't mind if you go check the archive videos and our post weigh-ins show, we'll call it, our quick clip.
Yes.
If it looked rushed, it's because it was rushed because we were a non-affiliated Fox show taping is what the literal words were going on behind us.
Right.
We had the coverage to tape, but they were also tearing down the weigh-ins. And so that's why it's so fast. But hey, we still got a quick one in. Whatever, man.
Yeah, we were there.
This guy's been to UFC 164. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to my brother for making the sign, and also to my cousin Mora. I feel like it's a family affair, but she also did our design for the Kick and Makeup logo. So big shouts out to my family.
Right.
And just finishing with Twitter, at Kick and Makeup is the show's, at Hybrid MMA is mine. And I liked tweeting from cage side, man.
Yeah,
it was a little bit looser, a little laid back, and
And I think what you were saying, was that when we do the Twitter stuff, it's a little more loose than what we have on Facebook, because Facebook is filled with friends and family to some extent, and you don't want to say everything, but if you want the true, unfiltered, edgy, stuff, you got to go on Twitter and follow us on Twitter. So it's awesome, man. I'm just really thankful and glad that we got so many different things going on. We got so many people coming through. Like it, we started with a website that had no hits, and now we're up and over 5,000. So it's crazy to see that in a short amount of time that people have been out there supporting like they have. So just continue to do that. We are not stopping. It's only getting bigger and better from here on out.
Beautiful way to talk about bigger and better. Drop the bigger and better because
we need a bomb, like
right.
I got a fire transition. I'm gonna work that in there.
I like it, man.
Now.
I like it. intro of the show is going to go to our big announcement. I don't know why I just said intro. That was for me to see. Intro.
That's all right.
Anyway, first things first, our ginormous announcement of what's going on, and we did it yesterday a little bit, but we're going to make it extra official right this second. Kick and Makeup presents For Til Bellator. Explain to everybody what For Til Bellator is.
Man,
Jeremy
well,
J.D.
we gotta get you, kudos to you for coming up with the name.
Thank you.
Everybody sits and we all watch the HBO sports specials, the Showtime specials, like, they got one going on for Canelo and Mayweather right now, where they just go and they follow the fighter for, a few weeks and, sort of tape everything that they have that's going on with them. And, you get to see them train, you get to see them eat, you get to see them with their family time, get some background on them. And, it helps you get hyped for the fight. It helps you get involved and, makes you feel like you're a part of what they're doing. So, nobody else is trying to do this. I gotta smile when I think about that. But nobody else is trying to do this, on the scale that we're doing this. But, fortunately, Nick has a, relationship with Rod Montoya, who's going to be fighting in the upcoming Bellator show in Cedar Rapids?
Cedar Rapids,
yeah, Cedar
Iowa.
Rapids.
Yep, October 19th. A Friday night fight show, October 19th.
Yes.
Bellator's coming to Cedar Rapids. So, just quick plug for them. If you're if you're in the Quad Cities, you don't have anything to do Friday night.
No excuses.
Hour and a half at the most.
Quick drive.
Bellator coming to an hour away from you. Why wouldn't you go and check out Rod Montoya, Militich fighter? This is his second fight in Bellator. This one's going to be a big one, and we want to make it known what's going on, and we want to support that's the whole reason for the Kick and Make Up show. We want to support our local fighters and not just cover, UFC stuff too. We're everything, anything and everything. Man, really excited.
Yes,
really excited about that.
We're going to be following him around, straight 24/7 style, just, seeing how he does things, sort of getting inside of his head and, giving the fans a peek inside what a fighter has to do leading up to his fight. So it's called For Til Bellator. It's going to be 4 episodes. Not exactly sure the length of the episodes yet, but it's going to be long. So it's going to be something that we're really excited about. And as the days go on, we're going to have more and more details coming out. We're trying to have an episode drop every week leading up to his fight. Right. So
4 weeks. 4 weeks. We'll do one a week. Like I said, the whole the 4 thing, and I think that's a good amount of time to kind of get everybody in the mood for it. 4 weeks out, 1 month.
Right.
And that last month is a grind. So we're going to be at Militich taping. We're going to be, like I said, I when I talked to him, I said, if you've got a family cookout, you're going away cookout, we want to be there.
Yep.
And we'll eat real quick and then we'll go.
Right.
We got to have that food too in our bellies. But big thank you too to Rod Montoya for being so excited and so gracious when we called him to let us do this. Like I said, I told him we try to be as less intrusive as possible, but also getting all the stuff for you guys, because I think it's important to see what goes on. I don't think anybody knows. I think people just think you got a fight coming up, you're in the gym, you're training, and there's so much more to it. So I think this is a great project for Kick and Make Up.
Right, and it's something that we're doing. Like, this isn't, we're not getting paid for this. This isn't something where we're gonna record a whole bunch of stuff and then give it to somebody else to edit it. We're gonna do all of it, from scoring the intros, having the music, editing. Everything is gonna be us. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity, and we got a big thanks to the people at Bellator for even allowing us to do this, because if they could have said nope, can't use your name, can't use our name, can't use our fighter, anything like that. But the people at Bellator are super gracious, and they were like, go ahead and do whatever you need. So it's just awesome that everything is coming together for us as a show, and we're just going to bring so much more to the fight game in the Quad Cities and the Midwest. Also, that doesn't mean that this is the only one that we're going to do. Like, this is just the first one. So hopefully we're going to be bringing more For Til, UFC, For Til Cage Aggression, For Til, whatever. And we're going to keep doing this as long as the people go out there and support it. So that means you're watching right now. when we get it out, go support it.
Right. So if you are new to the show, you don't know how it goes. If you've been a fan following, you know what we do. We have 3 segments in the show: the high kick, the low kick, and the that's some bull kick. The high kick talks about the best positive thing going on in MMA right now. The low kick is the worst thing going on in MMA. And that's some bull kicks where me and Jeremy, what was it called? Dormy. I was just gonna put
Dormy. That'll work.
I was just gonna throw you smushing in together. Where me and JD go and just get in our soapbox and rant and rave and throw things around. Disagree, agree, just go crazy. We go crazy for like 10 minutes. And that's some bull kick, and that's what we will get to pretty soon.
Love that segment. Love it.
My favorite
Love
too,
it.
man.
High kick.
Well, let's start off on a high note with the high kick. And like I said, we have, I think we've covered as much as we can for UFC 164. But in the last couple weeks, this was the highest point in MMA. Anthony Pettis for getting the win at UFC 164, taking the title from Ben Henderson. But it wasn't just him taking the title, it was the way he did it. He did it in the first round via armbar. He's after blasting 4 body kicks, and just I think for me it's not the win that gets the high kick, it's everything that came with it. Him getting it in Milwaukee, what it does now for the lightweight division. There's a few people that weren't the biggest Henderson fans even as the champion, so they weren't getting behind him. Now I think you've got a marketable champion that looks the part, plays the part. Also very gracious that we saw this weekend too, very humble, and I think he showed the world that when he went to his dad's tombstone at 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning on fight night. I'm sorry, but if I'm champion, lightweight champion UFC, I hope I would also do that too, but I may also still be at the club if I'm a younger guy winning the championship. So that just shows what type of man Anthony Pettis is to go do that the night. I mean, not wait till his hangover's done in the morning to go visit. He did that right after we saw him at he had one VIP showing at a club and went straight to see his dad. Right. So that's why he gets the high kick for me.
Yeah, it was cool for for us especially. There were so many different things that happened that night, and it's sort of like overwhelming when you go back and think about it. But just thinking about that main event, the crowd was amazing. Like, I've never heard a crowd that loud in my life. Like, I mean, the ovation that he got coming to the cage was incredible. Then for him to get the win, the crowd was even louder at that point. He gave thanks to so many different people and everyone who's been there to support him from the beginning. Then you have the post-fight press conference. I have to say, we were at UFC. Which one was that? One in Chicago. One
Fox Sports. UFC on Fox 4, maybe
5,
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All goes.
Yeah.
All just come together now.
Yeah, but it was in Chicago. Almost a year ago now. But Anthony Pettis was a little bit cocky. He wasn't. He sort of came off as being a little bit arrogant, and after seeing him get his belt, he came into the post-fight press conference a little late. So I'm thinking like, oh man, this dude is gonna be for real off the chain this time. But he was so humble, so soft-spoken, just really taking in the moment, and that gained a fan in my eyes, for me at least, because I wasn't the biggest Pettis fan. I was pulling for Henderson in that fight. I thought that Henderson would be able to pull it out, but Pettis showed me a lot. And then, like you said, we kind of crept in backstage, or from on the side entrance of the club that we were at that night, and got to kick it with him for a little bit. Really gracious with the fans. Brought his belts. If you go on our Facebook group page, or if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see the pictures that we got there. We might even have a little sketchy video of us, chilling out with him and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't upload that one yet.
We need to put that one up. That's for the fans, man.
Right.
See that we weren't just snapping pictures. We were there. We were cool.
Right.
But just really happy for him. Really happy to see what sort of character a guy has when you go out there, you party. He looked like he was happy. And enjoying the moment, but he had the the sort of wherewithal to decide that, you know, I'm going to go to my dad's grave and, you know, show him the belt. Like, man, that shows a lot. And, you know, just seeing, I know you posted a picture of it, and man, that's incredible to me. That's incredible.
I saw that, and I had to share. We shared so much this weekend of pictures and stuff of us eating around Wisconsin and talking about cheese curds. That, you know, that I saw this picture and I said, this one is the summary of the weekend of why people really do fighting. It's not, like I said, it's not usually for the money. It shouldn't be for the fame. It's usually for the people that you love. And I know that his dad has been the top motivator for him. And that picture summed up Anthony Pettis perfectly, and the weekend too, and why we do this too. Like, we do this for the fans, honestly. Like, we love this, but we do it for everybody else, and you know. So it was a great picture, and that's why I think that, and also. You know, stepping aside, looking in the future a little bit, him winning this automatically at the press conference, or excuse me, after he got the fight with Joe Rogan, he called out Jose Aldo and said that we got to do a belt unification, or belt versus belt, which that's not going to happen. They're not going to take the two of their most marketable guys and have them fight each other for, you know, for each other's belts, because Anthony Pettis wins, and then he's also the featherweight champ. You can't be champions in two divisions. Right. I mean, that's just weird on your body too, to be up and down and too much when they can market two guys instead of one. So what's going to happen is, and everybody was asking, you know, what about TJ Grant? What about TJ Grant? Well, he is going to get Anthony Pettis next. So it's going to be Pettis versus TJ Grant, which is awesome. It was supposed to be Grant that was injured and concussed from jiu-jitsu, and that's why Pettis got this. So I'm still a little questioning that whole thing, but whatever. We're gonna see Pettis and Henderson.
And you know what? Going back, looking at it now, like, you know, look at the way it turned out, and you know, having Pettis get the belt, you know, it truly shows that he was deserving of getting that opportunity. And it wasn't, you know, even if it was maybe shady in the way that he got it. He got the win, so you have to say that he deserved to be in that spot. So, and then, you know, the only person who really loses out on anything was Grant, because he was hurt, you know, but he still gets his opportunity as well. So there was really no losers in all this whole situation.
And Dana White even talked about it too. During the fight, Pettis suffered a sprained knee. He checked a kick from Henderson right on the knee, sprained knee. He's out for 8 weeks, no surgery needed. So that's awesome. But Dana White also said that, you know, Aldo is a 145-pounder, but obviously that's the fight they both want. TJ Grant earned the title shot. He gets the next shot. If Pettis defends the title and gets that win, we'll probably be looking at Aldo next. So they are thinking about doing that. I don't think they're going to put the belt for belt. But whether, you know, they've been talking about Aldo going up in weight, I would think that he's going to come up and then, you know, relinquish the featherweight title. There's a lot of featherweights right now. We saw this weekend too.
Yes.
Dustin Poirier, Eric Koch, Ricardo Lamas, all those guys, featherweights. You know, maybe they'll have like a, you know, whatchamacallit, vacate the title and have a title fight for the belt. Right. Have Aldo come up. So, I mean. There's so much exciting things coming up for the lightweight division, and this win opens up all those doors to let anything happen.
And you can sort of project, you know, a little bit into the future, and you know, if you know, Pettis is able to beat TJ Grant, that, you know, maybe that Aldo fight would be, you know, summer next year. So
summer in Milwaukee again.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. Yeah, we'll be there.
Well, sounds good to me.
Hold on. I love UFC. Love them.
Thank you guys
for
allowing us, you know, and
so much access.
In closing,
man.
I've been to a couple before. Dormy again.
Dormy, that's all right.
Jeremy's been to two now. They've always been so gracious, but this time I felt like they really stepped it up and allowed us to go behind the scenes with our camera and microphone and really get, you know, involved a lot this time, and we really appreciate it. So thank you, UFC, and we're doing our part now of doing what we say we're gonna do, is getting those shows out.
Low kick.
So kind of moving away from UFC 164, we'll get back to it for the bull kick session. But the low kick for this week, and this was an interesting one, man. Mm-hmm. It goes to the National Cage Fighting League, NCFL. So October 12th, they're gonna have their first show in Detroit, Michigan, which Detroit, love Detroit. So gonna have it. The main event is Bears fan right here. Main event fight is going to be Dan Severn versus Shonie Carter. Okay, so let's break this down. Dan Severn is
Beast.
50.
Don't forget the Beast.
I mean, hey, Dan the Beast Severn, age 55. He's gone 8-2 in his last 10 fights. I have a lot of respect for him and what he's done for the sport, but I don't know how relevant he is right now. What is this gonna do? I don't know. He's fighting Shonie Carter, who's 41. He's 2-8 in his last 10 fights. So we've got 8-2, Dan Severn decent in his last 10. We've got the flip side of that, 2-8 for Shonie Carter out of Chicago. He's representing. So now let me just say what this league is. This is IFL. Mm-hmm. This is International Fight League. Team versus team with super fights with the coaches. Shonie Carter is coaching the Chicago Hustle. Dan Severn is coaching the Detroit Ignition. And what my favorite thing on this when I saw this presser was, it said, the quote was, "MMA will never be the same." You already are being the same because they already had it for IFL. So your freaking quote right there doesn't even make sense.
Maybe
it is the same as IFL.
Maybe because the competitors are so old, that's why they're saying it's never going to be the same. I think, the first time I really knew about Dan Severn was, when he had his relatively short stint in the WWF back then, and that's when I figured out who he was. And I didn't know anything about his his MMA stuff, but I followed him after that, and I figured it out, and I saw that he had been an MMA fighter way before that, and was an MMA fighter way after he left WWF, now WWE of course. But I think for this fight, they should put on an old school WWF style stipulation fight. So the stipulation should be that the loser goes to a nursing home and has to live there.
I love that.
So it can be like the nursing home battle or something like that. Like,
I love that.
Somehow, some way, we need to get that.
So you get to catch a sign right there. That was
right. We got a breeze coming through.
That was that little quick.
Oh, and if anybody else wants to know, if you see me like doing weird stuff off camera, my daughter's over there, so
right,
she's hanging out. So just don't go out the door or anything. All right.
So I love it. You got to have something unique with this fight because it's been done. The IFL's been done. I worked for the IFL. That was one of the best summers as far as just being involved in MMA, before all this kick and make up stuff. That was a great summer of seeing behind the scenes stuff. That's what made me want to be behind the scenes more and work for a newspaper and all that. I mean, it was just great to see all that. But that formula didn't work, and it didn't work for a lot of different reasons. But fighting is not a team sport, and I think it was fun to see teams, and I know for a marketing standpoint, it was great. I still wear my jerseys, and what's that? What team is that? Never heard of them. Oh, it was a fight team. Quad Cities had the Silverbacks, and it was great, but it didn't work. So I don't know what the NCFL is going to do different, because they're doing the exact same formula. So right. Whether they have the fight for the nursing home fight or something, I mean, they've got to have something different to come out with this. October 12th. I'll be watching. I'll be looking for this. And I wish I would go to Detroit in a heartbeat that weekend if I could and check it out and see it. And I hope it comes to Chicago. Right. And maybe we can go check it out if it does. I'm sure its first year it's gonna hit everywhere that the teams are, like the IFL did. They went to everywhere the teams were from. So at some point we probably have some more coverage. And I'm a little leery on but I guess it's a good format for whoever they're gonna have on the teams to get your name out there. You know, Big Ben Rothwell was a silverback,
Right.
and we saw what he did.
Right.
He's still relevant right now. UFC 164, big win
Big
over
time.
Vera. So this could catapult the careers of some people. So maybe we'll look at it that way. But I still think it's goofy.
And it's you know, MMA is growing so big, so fast that there are going to be, you know, other leagues popping up.
Right.
I think one of the things that, you know, maybe they were thinking with the NCFL is that, you know, you had the IFL, yes, and for whatever reason it didn't succeed, and, you know, it ended up collapsing. But, you know, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Now, you know, there's so many more fans, and it's crazy to say that, you know, I'm sure the popularity of the sport has at least tripled since that point in time.
Easily.
So maybe they say, okay, there's more people now, there's more dollars going into this, so maybe we can go and try to tweak a little bit of what the IFL was doing, and maybe we can be successful and be that number 2 company, or, you know, try to take the number 2 spot from Bellator, and you know, try to provide something different for, you know, the fans of the fight game. And, you know, I'm not gonna knock it until I really see it, and, you know, I'm interested in that though. But the league I'm interested in. This fight, I don't know.
And maybe I should. Maybe I mean, more or less. I mean, the fight was definitely the low kick for me, and I guess the rest of the
not the league.
Not the league. So we'll say the fight itself was the low kick. The rest was just informational. The fight, I mean, I don't know. Not that I don't have any ageism here, but 55 versus 41, 2-8 in your last 10 fights for Shonie Carter. It doesn't. I don't. What do you do after this fight? These are super fights, so I don't really like super fights because I like a fight to set up a next fight.
Right.
When you fight and then it's over, you're done. Like then what do? You go nothing. So if you're gonna do super fights, I think you should look outside of your own organization or your own coaches at least.
Right.
And I'm sure there's up and coming fights that could be way better than this one.
Yeah.
But I know what they're doing of using the names. But I'm sorry, but Dan Severn and Shonie Carter are not huge names anymore. So we know who they are and we'll watch. But for the casual fan, I don't think it's going to bring them out of their houses. And if there's anything else going on Saturday night in Detroit, they might not be at the NCFL. I don't know. We'll see. I could eat all my words, and high kick of the week could go to Dan Severn and Shonie Carter for having the fight of the year.
Right.
I'll eat my words and be incorrect myself, but for this week, the low kick definitely goes to that fight, Dan Severn, Shonie Carter. Best of luck to you guys, and best of luck to the new NCFL.
Move this man!
That's some bull kick.
So, all right, here we go. My favorite, at some bull kick. We are
Little bull kick.
We're gonna bring it back to UFC 164 and finally close it out for good. Boom.
Unless you want to go back and look at some more stuff.
Right.
We'll never stop you from doing it, but we're kind of UFC 164'd out.
This is it. This is our last rant, so let's make it a good one. And this is a two-part rant in a one-part session. That's some bull kick goes to Frank Mir and the fans for complaining about an early stoppage against Josh Barnett at UFC 164. And this is, like I said, a lot goes to the fans too. I know you guys are educated, and and it's been seen over time that how educated you guys are for when you're cheering for reversals in jiu-jitsu and you're cheering for different things that you normally wouldn't cheer for. You've got to be smart to know how hard that is.
Right. So
you guys know how hard a knee from Josh Barnett to Frank Mir is. You know how hard that is. And you saw Frank Mir drop down. And we're going to talk about, after you get your little rant in, about what Frank Mir said about all that. You guys know that fight was over. That fight was over. The big elbow from Barnett first in the clinch, that wasn't enough for you? You can take a couple Barnett elbows, bull kick. That knee from him to seal the deal, how many knees can you take from Josh Barnett? Bull kick.
Yep. If it wasn't over at that point in time, and you think that the fight got stopped prematurely, it would have lasted about another 8 seconds.
Right.
Because he was and thinking as a referee. I'm not a ref. I don't do that. But just looking at what he saw, and we were right there, sitting right next to the cage. We could see everything.
Yep.
He collapsed like a pile of bricks. And it was apparent that he didn't have anything in his legs. Nothing. So if I saw that and I was a referee, I would have stopped it too. It would have been real quick, boom, like, oh, nope, over, done. Because he was limp.
Right.
And whether, you know, he got his senses back together, you know, apparently, and it just seems like after, you know, any fight, you know, everybody's always complaining that they felt like it was stopped a little bit early. So unless you get knocked out or submitted, you know, somebody's going to be complaining. So, yeah, I didn't think that it was a quick stoppage or anything like that. And like you said, you know, he had took some elbows before that.
Took a huge elbow, which I mean, we were sitting near each other, but that's when I would have looked over at you and said something, because he took this huge elbow. Heavyweight elbow is different from a lightweight elbow.
Yes.
Elbows are devastating. We've seen them.
Yes.
But that is a tree trunk coming at you, and you're getting this whole part here. And the reason why I know later that elbow registered, and I thought it did, was because Mir's answer to why he believed it was stopped early. He said that when he took the elbow, that he went down to a knee to regather his thoughts, and that he was going for the single leg takedown. That he consciously took that knee and went down on his own. No, you didn't. You fell, which shows me that you don't even remember. That elbow was so hard, it hit you so hard in the head, you don't even remember the fight. I'm sorry, we all watched it. You didn't take a knee. You were put down.
Got dropped.
So, and I get that everybody is always Frank Mir talking, and I agree too. He's one of those pioneers of the sport. Like when you're looking at, you know, top 20 ever in MMA, Frank Mir's on that list. So I'm not Frank Mir bashing at all. I'm just saying that it was a great stoppage. It needed to happen when it did. Dana White also thought it was an early stoppage.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's retracted his comments, but we all say things right after the fact and maybe think about it later. But I just thought, you know, that's bull kick to the fans too. Like, you guys know what's up. You're smarter than that. But for the Mir fans, don't worry. Your guy's not getting cut yet, even though he lost to Daniel Cormier and lost to Josh Barnett. So it's about chopping block time. But he will go on to face Alistair Overeem at UFC 167 on the 20th anniversary show, the co-main event. It's headlined by GSP and Johnny Hendricks. Awesome, on November 16th. Ridiculous. So this,
can't wait.
They're the co-main event, I believe. I believe at this point that the co, they might be, you know, second to co if something else pops up. But I think it's Alistair Overeem versus Frank Mir. Alistair hasn't had a lot of success lately either. But I think if he rips one of those kicks to Mir too, or does something big, I've got Mir, you know, going down again. So I'm already picking Overeem for this fight.
Yeah, I know Overeem was kind of he did well in his last fight, but you know he got caught and you know it ended relatively relatively quickly.
Was winning
he was doing
fight.
he was doing
winning
well.
The fight.
He was doing well. So I really think that Mir's time is up. You know, and nothing against him, like we were saying, nothing against him, but I think his time is about up. Overeem should still be, you know, very hungry, you know, trying to get to the higher levels of the heavyweight division, and
he's a marketable guy too, man.
Yeah, very.
He puts
very.
together a couple wins. He's a very marketable guy, a big guy, and he looks the part too of the role. So I'm very excited for that. But that's some bull kick fans.
Can I give one more compliment? Even though this is bull kick and we're supposed to be like pooping on people,
right.
I kind of want to give a nice compliment to one Mr. Josh Barnett, because you were awesome during your post-fight press conference. Like I wasn't the biggest Josh Barnett fan, hadn't really heard him speak a whole lot, but he was absolutely hilarious in the post-fight press conference. It's up on UFC.com if you want to check that out.
Actually, we'll do. Now that, thank you for actually saying that, because we have one more clip that we can put up of Barnett talking that I haven't done. So that's like if you're watching this, the secret clip. That's the last minute 160. But just kidding. There's more UFC 164. No, we got
2 years from now.
We got
one more.
We got
clip.
one more picture. So we'll put that up later today, just so you guys know what we're talking about. Because I fully agree with you that sometimes he plays his War Master part and gets on the mic and does the whole shtick of like Chael Sonnen does, and I'm super turned off at that. Yeah. But this time he didn't do that. He was hilarious, awesome, very humble, great answers and giving summaries of his career.
Right,
it was good.
right.
I mean, if you were a fan of MMA, that was a great press conference to be at.
Right, and you think that these guys are, these big brutes, like even Mir, they're both very well spoken, intelligent guys. Like Josh Barnett didn't get the War Master nickname by being just some dumb big brute. Like dude is obviously super intelligent, very funny, very witty, had great answers. It was awesome. So yeah, we'll definitely get that one up too.
Right. So, in closing, there's so much. I'm just happy to be back on the show, man. There's so much MMA coming up, and not just UFC. Let me let you guys know what's coming up next. World Series of Fighting 5, Andrei Arlovski versus Mike Kyle, this Saturday, September 14th, on NBC Sports. So I like World Series of Fighting. There's been some interesting fights so far. Not a lot of big names on the cards, but we've seen, the debut of John Fitch didn't do that well, but Josh Berkman's coming up right now. Mike Kyle, somebody that, used to be in the UFC, now still fighting, doing a great job. Arlovski too. When he's on it, I'm still a fan of his.
Yeah.
He just has taken a tremendous amount of beating lately and gotten some ginormous knockouts. But he's also been fighting some decent people. Anthony Rumble Johnson. So there's some good stuff going on if you guys want a little break from the UFC and see another organization, World Series of Fighting, coming up on Saturday. Also this Friday on Spike, on Bellator is coming up. Friday night, the main event is Patricio Pitbull versus somebody that I used to like a lot and still do, Diego Nunes.
Yes.
Diego Nunes was a featherweight that was almost, he was penned as like the mini Aldo.
Yep.
When he first came out and he fought Kenny Florian, but he was just one of those that was like this dynamic striker, and he's got to still be. I haven't seen him fight in a while, but the fact that he's on the main event on Bellator, I'm really excited to see him fight again. The co-main event's an interesting one, the light heavyweight co-main event. Houston Alexander versus Vladimir Munashenko, the janitor Vladimir Munashenko, cut from the UFC maybe 6 months ago.
Yep.
But still, when he was there, he was giving some big fights. He was going, he was fighting some big names. And Houston Alexander, one of those guys too that hasn't done great lately, but still a big guy that these fights can deliver for Bellator. And I know everybody's talking about how that Bellator is just picking up the scraps of the UFC, but I mean they're a smart organization. Right. They're picking up these people that were cut, but they're also growing their name too. And these guys are still, good fighters. That just because you got cut from the UFC doesn't mean that you're done in your career.
Right.
So
and there can only be so many fighters in the UFC. There's totally enough room for someone else to have a alternative promotion. So
right.
And that's what Bellator is doing, and they're doing a great job. And I'm really excited that we're going to get to go. It'll be my first time actually seeing a Bellator show in person.
Well,
so,
Mine as well.
I'm really excited to see what they have in store and, sort of compare and contrast them to the UFC. But, I mean, fights are fights. And when you got, guys who are hungry and, trying to get back up to that UFC level, it's going to be a good thing. So I'm excited to be able to go to see that and, also be able to, cover them the same way that we cover UFC. So
right. We're going to get some camera time. She is your daughter, huh? Right. She knows what's going on. She
sees the trying to be slick.
Right. I like how I did that.
I apologize for looking over and flashing her some ugly looks earlier in the show, but
It all comes up. It's Kick and Make Up. It's a family show.
Yeah, sometimes.
So we'll give a disclaimer. It wouldn't be a show either without the train rolling by. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the train. So one last thing before. So next week's show, we're going to sum up what we just said, Bellator, World Series of Fighting. We're also going to preview John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Huge card, 165, UFC 165 coming up. So we're going to give our picks for that.
Can we talk about the Rousey Tate?
Let's do that.
I just want to say I just now had an opportunity to watch the first episode of that, and I was amazed at how how much more I wanted to see the women fights
Yeah.
as opposed to the guy fights. Like the ladies just seemed so much more compelling. I was kind of skeptical about it when it first started, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to see this. And you got the lady coaches, and it's gonna be too much, like, you know, too much drama. But man, it was so entertaining. And those ladies, and one of the cool things about it is that those ladies have been fighting most of them have been fighting for a long time. And you know, you see the very best in Rousey, Tate, KAMU, you know, you see all of those, you see them on a regular basis in the UFC. Right. But there's this whole other level of women fighters who haven't made it there yet. But these women are unbelievably accomplished too. And you know, you saw a few of them on there. And you know, it's I guess it's kind of, you know, bogus, but the guys seem completely overshadowed in my opinion.
Right.
And
well, it's a changing of the times too. I mean, this is the 18th season for Tough. I've watched every single season, good or bad. I know there's been a lot of people that stopped watching Tough a long time ago, but I've been with them too the whole time, and so it was time for something new. I liked the quality on Fox Sports 1 of the different. It was a different camera angles. They're going a different route as far as that. So Wednesday nights on Fox Sports 1, we've got the Ultimate Fighter 18.
Yes,
I'm a big Miesha Tate fan. I'm not a huge Ronda Rousey fan, so I'm already pulling for. I know I just made Jazz upset about that. She's a huge Ronda Rousey fan. I am a big fan, and I want to see this fight again. I want to see this fight, and so it's yeah.
And one thing I can say too about it is that the commentary by both Rousey and Tate, you know, analyzing the fights, and I mean, Ronda was, you know, watching the fights and taking like books worth of notes on the fighters, and you know, Tate was, you know, sort of giving her commentary. Now, you know, you don't get to hear all of it, but you got to hear little clips and, you know, little bits of what she was saying about the fights and the fighters. And I mean, like, these women know their stuff, and you know, maybe it's, you know, I'm being a caveman, but it's like there's that double standard, and you think that you know, it's just women. No disrespect at all, but these women know their stuff, and you are missing out on some excellent TV if you aren't watching, you know, this season of The Ultimate Fighter.
It's MMA in the fall, man.
Yeah, love it.
That's my favorite.
Love it.
I love MMA in the fall. There's so much coming up. We've got the biggest fights of the year coming up. I mean, so you thought that Kick and Make Up was in your face at the beginning of 2013. Well, we're gonna close out the year as big as we can.
Oh yeah.
And you know, along with everything going on, it's not gonna be hard to do. So that wraps up this 11th show of Kick and Make Up. www.kickandmakeup.com is where you can go to see all the archive shows, and this one pretty soon coming up. www.kickandmakeup.com. I just said it twice because I meant to say something else, but I said that again. kickandmakeup@gmail is where you can email us and let us know what's going on, and you know, more of the professional stuff. You got something? So your hand go up.
Go Money Team. Mayweather Alvarez this weekend. That'll be a good one too.
I'm right now again. I'll say it on the show. I'm pulling for Canelo, and like I said, I've said Weidman was gonna win, and that's all. There's a big old period. We all know what happened. So I'm just gonna say that I called Weidman, and I'm calling Canelo.
Money Team.
Yeah.
Money Mayweather.
Kick and Make Up Facebook page. Get on there. Join the group. Get all the backstage and info on what we do. If you're a tweeter.
Yes. Talk to us, man.
If you're a tweeter on Twitter, at Kick and Make Up is the shows, and at Hybrid MMA is mine. That does it. American Hybrid Nick Cunningham. Jeremy JD Dorsey.
And Jasmine JD Dorsey right there too.
Remember, don't solve it in the streets, take it to the cage and kick and make up.